getting closer every single day to the June 8th primary in this state. This week we'll be talking to the GOP side of that issue. 4 candidates running for the governor's office and, of course, the GOP nomination in the state of South Carolina. This morning we're joined by Congressman Gresham Barrett. Thank you, of course, for joining us.
Glad to be here, Brian.
One of the key issues, I think, from coast to coast, not only here but all the way out to the West Coast, is immigration right now.
Yeah.
Your camp releasing a new ad just in the last couple of days or so. There's a lot of plans out there. People say they have the solution. What makes yours different or even better than the next guy's?
Well, a couple of things. I mean, first of all, let me say I applaud the governor of Arizona for trying to take her state back. The problem is the federal government has been unwilling to enforce the law. It's an extremely important issue. The very first bill I put in as a United States Congressman, Brian, was a comprehensive immigration bill that secured our borders and did not allow amnesty. But what we do is we focus on a program called the 287G. Now, it does carry legislation. We want to enact something very similar, a common sense Arizona law, but the 287G is something we can do right now. It's a program where we train our local and state law enforcement officers on how to enforce immigration laws. That's something we can do right now. It doesn't take legislation. It doesn't take any special formulas or anything, because they're trained at the facility down in Charleston, the FLETC, which is the Federal Law Enforcement Training Center. When these state and local law enforcement officers go back to their municipalities or counties, then they are educated on how to enforce the immigration laws, and that's a way South Carolina can step up to the plate and do what the federal government is unable or unwilling to do.
Mm-hmm. Certainly another one of the issues that's on a lot of people's minds right now is oil and offshore drilling.
Right.
We've all seen what's going on in the Gulf. They're still struggling to try to contain that. I know you've talked about drilling off of our coast before. Right. Do you still have a mindset where you think that's the best option to have offshore drilling so close to our coastlines?
I do, because in our Palmetto Energy project, we've got a two-pronged attack. First of all, it's a little different in South Carolina because the reserves off of our coast are natural gas, not oil. The National Petroleum Institute says there's 4 billion cubic feet of natural gas off our coast. That could be 2,200 jobs, and if you equate the royalties in the Gulf Coast to South Carolina, $250 million per year at a minimum that we could use as we see fit. The other side of that equation, though, Brian, is nuclear. We've got 4 nuclear reactors on the board in South Carolina. To put it in perspective, our state budget this year is 5 years. Those reactors could be a $25 billion investment in South Carolina, which are real jobs, real growth, real economic opportunity, which lowers the cost of business in South Carolina, which makes us more competitive.
Well, as we're getting closer every day, I mean, it probably feels like it's time for the rubber meet the road here. We're 2 weeks out or so. Some of the polls have you trending anywhere from 2nd to 3rd right now at this point, and one of your opponents picking up a high-profile endorsement the other day, of course, talking about Nikki Haley and Sarah Palin. Do you think that has any impact at this point, this late in the game?
Yeah, well, I mean, endorsements always cut both ways. Some people it helps you with, some people it hurts. But what we're talking about is our plan. You know, if we're going to do something different in South Carolina, if we're going to change the dynamics, you have to have a plan. I learned that in running a small business in Westminster. If you're going to be successful and you know where you want to go, you've got to have a plan to get there, and we do. It's called putting South Carolina back to work. And I believe implementing that plan and knowing what I know as a congressman, because I can tell you straight-faced, Brian, that having served in Congress over the last 7.5 years, the answers to this nation are not in Washington, D.C. They're right here in our states. And I believe in the 10th Amendment. I believe in governors or a governor standing up and saying, we're going to take our states back. We're going to start here in South Carolina. We're going to put people back to work and prove to America we can do it.
All right. Well, speaking of work, a lot to do over the next couple of weeks. Time is short. The June 8th primary is right around the corner. Thanks, of course, for joining us today.
Thanks, Brian.
Best of luck to you, sir.
Yes, sir.